Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over my latest draft for Game Week 1. There's been a lot of updates recently regarding certain players that were in my last draft, so I've kind of changed it all a bit. If you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, what is your current draft looking like, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, my goalkeepers haven't changed. Still have Ward in there as my 4 mil keeper. And then also I have Miguel as my 4.5 mil keeper. I'm feeling a little bit more strongly that Miguel is going to be our number 1 over Matt Sells this season. So yeah, he will be my, I think he's just going to be my goalkeeper anyway. With Sanchez probably going to be losing his spot, and the other 4.5 mil keepers are very, very good, but the fixtures just aren't as good as Forest. And Forest under Nuno, they actually sorted it out at the back. A lot of their goals that they conceded were literally just from low XG shots. So if they kind of like tighten that up, obviously they tighten up the set pieces, which is why they're bringing in such tall defenders and obviously the goalkeeper. I think we're going to be conceding a lot less, and the run of fixtures for Forest at the very start of the season is very, very good. You know, Bournemouth, Southampton, Wolves in the first 3, Liverpool away, not ideal, but then Brighton, Fulham, and obviously Palace, Leicester, and West Ham. So, you know, like I say, in the first 10 game weeks, there's only 2 really, really difficult fixtures. And even Chelsea, obviously, we beat Chelsea away last season, so, or it might have been the season before, but I remember beating Chelsea away because it was an absolutely incredible moment. But, yeah, like, apart from that, like, Liverpool away, obviously very tough, but there's just some really, really nice fixtures for Forest, and even if it does go wrong, you can always transfer him out to a different 4.5 mil keeper. I know it's never fun making a goalkeeper transfer, but obviously wildcards can be used and stuff like that a little bit further on into the season. So I'm very happy with having him as my goalkeeper. Obviously, if it does turn out that Sells is going to be our number 1, then obviously I'll bring him in instead. They're all 4.5 mil, so it doesn't really matter at all. And then, yeah, Ward is literally just any 4 mil goalkeeper. I'm trying to get one that's like relatively low owned. So Ward is 2.8% owned, because if you bring in like a 4 mil keeper that's kind of highly owned, there's always the chance that he gets sold quite a bit and then you lose 0.1 on him, because that's what happened with Turner last season. I know that he was playing and stuff, but I think I ended up losing like 0.2 on Turner last season because he wasn't playing very well, and even though he was a starting goalkeeper, he was just doing nothing, and he was just losing me money on the bench really, because I wasn't going to play him over my number 1 goalkeeper, and like I say, he just wasn't really it was just losing money on the bench. So either way, I've gone for Miguel and Ward in goal. At the back, it has changed a little bit. Still got Barco, still got Colwill, still got Castagna, but I have gotten rid of both Konza and Dan Burn. Dan Burn's a little bit of a worry for me, just simply because I'm pretty sure Newcastle have just brought in another centre-back, and there's already competition at left-back for Dan Burn as well. Trippier looks more and more likely to be moving to Saudi as well, and if that happens, then I think that's Livermento's spot to take. So yeah, he'd offer so much more than Dan Burn going forward, and he's the same price as well, so I'd much rather have Livermento. His injury record isn't the greatest, but if he does get injured, I've got 4 other defenders that will play and that have relatively okay fixtures over the first like 5 game week. So I'm very, very happy with having Livermento. That's only if Trippier goes. If Trippier doesn't go, I might not even go Dan Burn, because I think it might be a little bit risky. I might just bring in like somebody like Konza. The only reason Konza's not in this draft, even though they have really good fixtures, is obviously Villa will have Champions League football, and I think there's going to be quite a bit of rotation in the squad around game week 4 and 5, which is when obviously Villa have some really good fixtures as well. But either way, that's why Livermento's in here. Castagna's in here as well, just simply because after the Man United fixture, they do have 3 really good fixtures with Leicester and Ipswich, so 2 newly promoted teams, and then obviously West Ham at home. They've also got Forest away in game week 6 as well, which is, you know, arguably an okay fixture for both teams. That could go either way. But yeah, Castagna's numbers last season were just really good as well. He's only like 3.3% owned as well. Unless he's like losing his spot or something, I don't see any reason to not have him. There obviously are other good 4.5 mil defenders as well, like, don't get me wrong. But for me, I think I've kind of settled on the idea that I'm just going to go very cheap at the back and then just pump all those funds into the forwards and the midfielders, just because the bonus point system this year just suits them so much more than defenders. So that's why. I mean, I don't really want any centre-backs. I know I've got Colwill, but I only really want wing-backs because they can offer a little bit more. Because I feel like with centre-backs, if you concede, that's just like 2 points and then that's it. And then obviously if they concede more, it's only 1 point. And then if they pick up a yellow, it's even less points. So for me, I'm probably only going to attack wing-backs this season. Colwill is just a little bit different, as I say, because the fixtures are just ridiculous for Chelsea after City at home. But I'm not going to be playing them against City at home anyway. And that's why I brought in Mikalenko as well. Really nice fixtures. Apart from Spurs and Villa, after that, I think he's just a bit of a set and forget. Like, I can play him most weeks. Probably won't play him against Newcastle at home. But like I say, he can play Brighton, Bournemouth, Leicester, Palace, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton. Like, he can play all these teams, so I'm just going to have him there. And, you know, he's not even going to be mainly bench fodder, because a lot of the weeks he will rotate very, very well with other defenders. But yeah, I really, really like him as an option. Colwill I've already spoken about. He looks very kind of settled in that back line, even though Chelsea haven't been great pre-season. The fixtures are really, really good, and yeah, I'm more than happy to have Colwill, but don't mind changing him to a different kind of wing back if need be. But as of right now, I've got Colwill. And I've also spoken about Barco in the last video as well. I don't know if it's Barco or Barso, but either way, I think he's going to be so good this season. But you don't really want him for the first three, really. You're probably going to want him for Ipswich and Forest, which Est opinion is apparently going to be back around the end of September. And yeah, the only reason you really want this player is literally Ipswich and Forest, because apart from that, all the other fixtures are very, very difficult. Like, they've got Arsenal away, Chelsea away, Spurs at home, everything like that. The fixtures get really, really good after game week 11, because then they've got Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, etc. But he's probably not going to be playing as regularly in the squad then, because Estepinian will be back. But you never know. Maybe Estepinian doesn't get his spot back and it's just Barco's. But either way, that's the back line. In midfield, it has changed quite a bit again. Mo Salah is back in the squad. I've also brought in Son as well. Obviously, Palmer, Eze, Gordon, they've kind of been staples in my teams a lot recently. Palmer could be an Nkunku, but I just think his numbers are so good, and he's obviously on penalties, and he is the talisman in that Chelsea squad. So yeah, I really, really want to go into the season with Palmer, just because after the City game, they're just so good. Like, the fixtures, I just want him for that run of fixtures. I feel like he's going to be so I think he's going to be so detrimental to teams that don't have him. And I know that a lot of people are bringing like Nkunku in to cover him, but I just don't think he's going to. Especially with Nkunku's injury record as well. Like, that's something else to think about. Eze's been a set and forget literally since I've first initially made my Game Week 1 team. It's for 7 mil for penalties and a Palace team that looks really, really good at the end of last season. There's no way I'm getting rid of him in my squad. Like, I just cannot. And then, yeah, Gordon, like I say, looked really, really good last season at home with some really nice fixtures at the start of the season. So, can't see myself getting rid of Gordon. Brought Salah back in. It's mainly because I've gotten rid of Haaland, and I'll speak about Haaland in a second. But yeah, Salah's back in. I mean, after kind of umming and ahhing about it a little bit, I feel like I need to kind of own Salah for this fixture run. Like, Ipswich, Brentford, United, Forest, Bournemouth, Wolves, Palace. I think that's just such a ridiculous... Like, if you're not going to own Salah now, like, when are you going to own him? Like, maybe around Game Week 18, where they've got Leicester, West Ham, United, Forest, Brentford, Ipswich, Bournemouth. Like, that's probably the second time this season that you really want him. But for the start of the season, like, it's a really, really good run of games for Liverpool. And, yeah, on penalties, obviously, and I feel like those fixtures are just they're gonna hurt me if I don't have him. And I've also brought Son in as well over Saka, and that's just simply because even though they're both on penalties, Saka does have Wolves at home, which is a really nice fixture. But then it kind of goes a little bit worse, because obviously for Arsenal they have, like I say, Wolves, but then they've got Villa, then they've got Brighton, they've got Spurs, City. Whereas Son has 2 really, really nice fixtures at the start of the season. Also has nabbed like 3 goals and an assist in the last 2 games, so he's obviously in form. And I can just play him for the first 2 and then just get rid of him. Like, I don't need him for Newcastle and Arsenal. Like, I can always downgrade him to a Foden around then. Because Foden is not going to be back in the squad. I think Pep's comments have been really, really weird. He said that he's going to be back, but he's going to be like kind of brought into the squad gradually and stuff like that, because obviously they're going to be getting back late, whereas like Saka and Rice and players like that are going to be ready for Game Week 1, so it's just one of those. But yeah, I don't mind having him as a little bit of a punt, really. He's only 11% owned at the start of the season. Like, Leicester away and Everton at home are really good fixtures for Son, so I don't mind him. And then, like I say, if it goes wrong, I can just get rid of him. But yeah, I don't mind having him at all, and like I say, on penalties as well. So that's the midfielders. Up top, we've reverted back to Watkins, Isak, and Stewart. Obviously, Isak's been having a really good preseason as well, so he's kind of just a set and forget as well. The fixtures are pretty good for Newcastle, but obviously on penalties, like I said, been playing really well. And that Southampton home fixture, I feel like you need Isak for that. And then, yeah, gone Watkins over Haaland. Even though, like I say, I've spoken about Villa a little bit with like Champions League football and stuff. They obviously have just brought back in the, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, that old Villa striker. I feel like they brought him back to obviously rotate with Watkins a little bit. I think Watkins' minutes are going to be hurt a little bit because of Champions League football. And so because of that, it is a little bit risky. But Haaland's latest comments have been very, very worrying, really. I mean, Pep has literally come out and said that he's got like muscle problems and stuff like that, and that he's, he's taking part in like training and stuff like that, but at some point he's going to have to take a step back, and then you know, kind of rest him a bit. And it's not really the comments you want to hear going into it, because let's say let's say Haaland plays the first fixture, which obviously against Chelsea, and then he's rested for Ipswich. You know, like, everybody wants him for Ipswich because it's such a good fixture, but if he's not even playing in that fixture, it's just not worth it. And he's 15 mil as well. Do you really want a 15 mil player that's not going to be playing when you've got Salah, who's going to be like playing Ipswich away and then like Brentford at home and stuff? I just feel like it's too risky. I don't need to take a risk. If it was a player that was like 6 mil, fair enough. 15 mil is so much money, and it also like hurts the like it's a potentially injured Haaland, or like Watkins and Salah. Is one of those, like, I just don't really back it unless the comments get a little bit more positive about Haaland. I just don't think I'm gonna start with him, because it's just too risky. Like, there's no reason to risk it. And you know, if he is fine for Ipswich, fair enough. It's one of those things. But unless the comment, like, if he's still saying the same thing, right close to like game week 1 as he is saying right now, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really worth going for it, especially when Salah's right there. So this is kind of my latest draft. This is kind of where I am right now. And I'm just kind of going off like comments and stuff like made by managers and what's happening in preseason. But yeah, I think I'm getting closer and closer to my final squad. I can't really see it changing too much more from here unless Haaland's back. If Haaland is fine, then I'll probably go back to a Haaland, and I'll probably still keep Son, but I'll probably obviously downgrade Salah to a Szoboszlai or something like that. But either way, though, that's my latest draft. If you enjoy, drop a like down below. It's trying to 50 likes. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you're brand new. And until next time, peace.